Hello, been a while since I've been in front of a camera. So funny story. I was actually ready to make this video and a whole load of others about a month ago. Then I had one of the worst colds I've ever had in my life, and my voice sounded actually fucking horrible. So I'm not exactly enthused to record when my voice just sounds like this. I sounded like a ghoul from Fallout. So yeah, we're back. I think you can see the new setup here. You got it's not all of it, but you can see. Oh no, you actually can see just about see all my figures from him and over there to all the other stuff here. You can see my little Venom. Got a Street Fighter 2 poster, and I got a printed out picture of Tetsuo Shidada. We had a new printer. I wanted to test it out for myself, so I was like, what can I print with this? I just printed out a picture of Shidada because I thought it'd be funny. And it is. Every time I look at it, I just chuckle a little bit. So yeah, Marvel Rivals is taking the internet by storm, and it has been because it's really good. It's like all the good parts of Overwatch minus the Blizzard part of Overwatch. Don't worry, we have Netties. We're like 2% worse, 2% better, but it's not Blizzard. It's not Blizzard. So now that all the Fantastic Four have came out, there's one question on everyone's mind. Oh, who's going to be next in the game? Because there's so many cool options. There's also a couple of really confusing characters who aren't in there yet. So this is just going to be theorycrafting, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of who I think could be potentially the cool future characters for Rivals. So, bang, you never know. I might be right about all of these, and I'll be seen as a super genius, and I'll be seen as Nettie's spy, and then I'll get, banned. Or maybe on the next character they're adding is the fucking Amadeus Cho, and I'll look here like the total chump I am. So, first off, when I talk about confusing emissions, Cyclops. What? Okay, I'm a huge X-Men fan. You'll probably be able to see throughout the rest of this video, I really like the X-Men because they're fucking awesome, and I think they did a really good job of doing them in this game. Like Storm's really cool, especially now that she's like functional. Season 0 Storm was rough. Wolverine is really cool, and it's so much. He feels really right, and also really weird that he's just like specifically a tank pick destroyer. But he's really cool and all that. Luna Snow. I fucking hate that bitch because she stole Dazzler's spot. Yeah. Side tangent. Dazzler is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I don't know why. She's just really grown on me. And ooh, yeah. Let's see. Musician. Yes. Skates. Yes. Has music sort of related powers. Yes. Is a support, yes, like that really, Dazzler would just be Luna, but a DPS. I don't know, maybe make her like a tank and she's got really buff, I don't fucking know. Yeah. So, Cyclops is probably the most confusing, out of any character who isn't here, outside of maybe Deadpool. But, it's Deadpool, trying to come with a moveset for him is gonna be really fucking annoying. But, Cyclops is just so cool. And so much recent media, like X-Men 97, has been pushing that, he's the fucking GOAT. The best example I can think of is just that, the Marvel vs. Capcom re-release thing they did. And you just see Cyclops fucking doing that. It's like, this is what we were meant to be doing. So, Cyclops, I think he's probably one of those inevitable characters. Maybe they do at Amadeus Cho next, but somewhere along this game's plan. I know a specific term for timeline. That's it. In somewhere in the game's timeline, Cyclops is just going to be added. I think that's pretty much an inevitability. So I think Cyclops could be really cool because, first of all, one of the main things, his primary fire would be like an optic blast, and compared to, say, most other characters, it would be a beam. It would be prolonged damage. I think that could be something that could be, fun, quite, different, because the only other, beam or so in the game is, Iron Man. He has, the big fucking chest one. I don't play Iron Man, so I don't know any of the terms. So I think, but that's, more of a side fire thing. It's not, his main fire. So I think something like that for Cyclops could be really fun. And in terms of abilities, but okay, I'm gonna be real. This is where my Marvel vs. Capcom bias comes through because Let's be real, Cyclops is so cool in those games. You could absolutely make a moveset out of that. Like, I don't know if he's ever done this in the comics. Add in the Gene Splice. I think that's what it's called. Where he like punches and then like fires like a blast upwards. So like sure you could do that with his you in the air. I think that could be really, really fun. Because it would just be like it'd be sort of a combo thing. And that could just be, oh no, you're still in damage, I'll just look at you. In terms of how you could make the beam balanced, by the way, because of course, he needs to reload of some kind, but it comes from his eyes. That's literally the whole point, is he can't take his glasses off, otherwise he will, like, melt everything. So, maybe you could just make it so his, like, visor has, like, a heat thing. And, like, I know what you're gonna say. I know what someone's gonna say. Oh, but his eyes are kinetic energy, they're not laser, there's no heat behind them. Counterpoint, it is kinetic energy moving at, like, thousands of miles a second. Something like that, it's insane. Therefore, it's going to build up friction. Friction still exists, and also besides about the laser thing, there's so much official Marvel art where it's being used as lasers anyways. I think people just like doing that because it's like one of the best actuallys, and also, it's just funny. Like, it's just funny how it's just unofficially called the punch dimension, and I think everything should have a name like that. So, yeah, you would have, like, the sort of basic, like, gene-spliced combo attack, which, but it could also be a mobility tool, too, because it would give him, like, a lot of vertical mobility. So, I feel like Cyclops would just naturally lead towards being a simpler character, because, like, he fires beams. So, yeah, that would be, like, one of his abilities. In terms of another one, I was thinking maybe, again, let's come here, like, some kind of, like, reflective one, because there's a move where he fires at the floor and it bounces off. And I think something like that could be really cool for as like an alternate. Like doing a specific pose, so he's doing it. He'll fire at the ground. It will like bounce somewhat. You can maybe make it so it'll bounce like multiple times, because that could be really fun if you're playing on like the Wakanda map and you're in a little underground area beneath the point. He just fires a beam down there, beep 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 beep, beep just like it does shit tons of damage. So it could be one of those moves where like you have to try and use it intelligently. You can't just fire it out in the middle of a point. Hope for the best. Like no, you have to try and like think when you use it, which is kind of applicable for Cyclops because he's like the leader, he's like the tactician of the group. Now, in terms of like what you could have for an ultimate, again, Marvel vs. Capcom, because this is the only time Cyclops does anything like. Okay, Cyclops is cool as shit, but like he's not like a creative guy. He just like does that. And that's actually what his ult would be. He like throws his visor to the ground, just a massive beam comes out. Maybe he's like locked to the ground somewhat, and can like only slightly turn. That's like the counterbalance. Like you have to dedicate yourself to this point. And because I really want this, I really hope that when he does it, he just yells, "Dreams don't die!" Like he doesn't it was Marvel vs. Capcom. I think it was not one. It was. And then there's X-Men vs. Street Fighter. I think that's why he yells it. Because that's like, it's so simple, but that's one of my favorite like lines of like Cyclops. He just like fires a massive beam, do shit ton of damage, it'll just like knock you back a lot. And again, but the whole point is that he'd be stuck there, so if you manage to escape him, you just quite easily pop him. I think that could be, it kind of ties into what Cyclops would somewhat be. He'd be someone who you have to think smart about, you have to think tactically about, but he's still strong in and of his own right. So yeah, that's my first one out of the way, Cyclops. So, that was our first duelist. So, next up is, of course, Vanguard, because gotta be real, I don't really like playing any of these guys, except for occasionally Penny, sometimes, but not very often. So, hopefully, this one, I'll like more. Juggernaut. He's the Juggernaut, bitch. There, I said the line. I said the funny line from some, like, random old dub from, like, 2002. Of fucking the X-Men cartoon that somehow made its way into X3, The Last Stand. I don't know which is worse. Oh wow, yeah, Last Stand, that's fucking bad. Luckily, Juggernaut hopefully won't be bad. I'm gonna be real, he's pretty simple. He's a big guy, he punches. I wish I could make it more interesting, but yeah, he's a big guy, who punches. I got ideas though, I do have ideas. His basic move would just be, the simple, like the Thing and the Hulk have. Why not have another? Why not? Hey. But my idea was that like abilities would be where he'd be somewhat different. First of all, a big old fucking clap. He just smashes massive meaty claws together. Bang! And there's just a big old shockwave. And my idea was that that would be really good for knockback. And my idea was funny enough, similar to kind of Cyclops, but I think this would be a bit more there, is that Juggernaut could kind of like combo you? Which I know might sound really weird considering it's Juggernaut, but like, it's cool. I think that it's a rule of cool above all else. Like this massive guy just beating the shit out of you. I just had a rhyme for doing that. Made me think of, okay, this is really stupid. Give him a command grab. Okay. Make him have a move he does that. And if he gets someone in the air, for example, after, he does a shockwave, or after his like basic combo, maybe he can do like that. But so he would land his basic combo, like bam, bam, grabs you, and he would just fucking throw you on the ground. And like, oh man, no, yeah, okay, that was just something I came up with on the spot, and that's sick. I need it. So yeah, that would be like his big, like basic, like what he does when you're in combo stuff, because it'd be kind of like Magic, because Magic kind of has combos, but the issue is Magic is that it's really hard for her to actually get in. Juggernaut's huge, and he'd have a very good tool of getting in Tackle. It'd be kind of like Yancey Street Charge from The Thing, but my idea is that it's less of a control thing and more of a, you just press it, a little like, he would start like, literally like doing that like a ball. You couldn't see him, I was like moving my feet, like a ball, and you like point it, and you like choose where to go, and when you press, like when you release the button, he just fucking goes for it. My idea was because this Juggernaut, nobody except the Juggernaut. Walls, people, whoever, he just fucking barges through until he reaches an unbreakable wall. Maybe there'd be like a cancel thing after a couple seconds, but like only after a couple seconds. So you can't just use this next to a pit unless you want to take them, unless you want to go down with them. Which could be really funny because I could just imagine seeing like, man, they're at point zero, just see some Juggernaut bulldoze the entire team and they just fall to his fucking death. That'd be really funny, but that would be really cool. So, yeah, I think that could be a very fun way of getting the literal unstoppable nature of Juggernaut in the game. Because another idea I had was just, he does shit tons of, like, wall damage. Like, way more than any other melee hero. Just because that's, like, his whole gimmick. His whole gimmick is just breaking shit. He doesn't, if you read anything of Juggernaut he doesn't really attack people. He just kind of runs and, like, swats. And that does the job, because he's, like, 800 pounds of muscle. So he just goes like, fuck you guys, I'm just trying to get the fucking thing. I'm trying to get a fucking Xavier. And you just see, like, he's destroying the mansion. Good God. So I feel like something like that can be really, really fun to try and do. It's just like an absolutely destructive Juggernaut who just runs through like any destruction. Just bang! Oh, there's a hole in the wall. Great. So another ability I had, well, not an ability. Basically, because of Juggernaut's design, he has a big helmet. So my idea was that you could do something similar to Jeff, where he takes reduced critical damage. Solely because it's like, I don't really give that to a tank because that could be a bit bullshit, so maybe if that does sound a bit unfair, fair enough. But the way I look at it is that, A, again, more unstoppable nature. B, he probably wouldn't have any kind of bonus health. I don't really see a way of him getting that, realistically. And C, yeah, he literally has a giant head. That, if you don't reduce that damage, I would be just like, oh great, I went near a turret, I'm dead now, yippee. Like, so yeah, like, give him like a reduced thing. And in terms of ultimate, I feel as though if you want to give him some kind of real ultimate, the issues of Juggernaut, again, as I said, doesn't really attack. He's just a big guy who just kind of like flails and lets that do the job. So as in terms of an ultimate, I guess was maybe just some kind of AoE thing. Honestly, like Juggernaut was like, even in like the Capcom games, what's his like ultimate? He just tackles you 3 times because he's too big and he's too simple to really do much of like something creative with. That's why I went with the combo angle. Therefore, like, there's something separating him from Hulk and the Thing. Like, he's somewhat of a pick tank, you know? He'll be on the front lines of taking a shit ton of damage, and I'll see like, ooh, I see a little Sue Storm there. Fucking get over it! Bang, bang, bang. You see what I mean? Like, that would be his kind of thing. Which, again, funnily enough, that actually ties in with him as a character. Because similar to Cyclops, I think tactically, this is actually off the cuff. I just realised this. I'm like a genius. With Juggernaut, you would literally do what he kind of does in like most stories. He's not a guy who's like, he just like gets told what to do and does it. Like a lot of his stories just like, hey, someone told me to like get you, so I'm gonna like do it. Or like, hey, I really fucking hate Xavier, so I'm gonna like chase after him. And it would be kind of like that. You would just see Juggernaut like tear through your front line to get to your like Mantis in the back, and it would just be like, "Fucking stop him!" Like, I feel like that would be a really fun way of kind of translating the Juggernaut experience. Do I think you'd be probably really obnoxious with all this? Yes. Do I care? No. This guy would be fun. I'd actually have fun, because that's the main issue with all the tanks, is they have no mobility. The only one it does is like Hulk, but he has that really awkward jump thing. I guess there's Thing, but yeah, Thing just sucks. I'm sorry. Thing is not fun. So I feel like this could be sort of like a fun, just like, somewhat unorthodox, that was a really simple kind of tank. So yeah, overall, I think Juggernaut would be a really fun, somewhat unexpected character. Yeah. So our next one I had planned, and this is the sign. This is the sign, guys. I don't just read X-Men, I read other shit. This character could potentially be incredibly annoying, but like it'd be funny. Wasp. Yeah, that's right, Wasp, the character who shrinks. I said she would be annoying. So my idea with Wasp is that she could kind of be a bit of a hit and run character, like Spider-Man. We need another Spider-Man, guys. But don't worry, Wasp is a comic character, so you wouldn't get as many people who don't actually know what they're talking about when they're playing. Maybe. I wonder how many people... I feel there's a general higher level of knowledge from... I don't know, maybe I'm just like trying to make myself be good, because I actually read the comics. Like more than this, there's like a whole pile down there. I have too many for my tiny little bookshelf, so I'm trying to figure that out. That's really cool. So yeah, Wasp. This would be actual Janet Van Dyne Wasp, not. Is it Hope? I think it's like Hope Van Dyne or something like that in the MCU. I don't know. I don't care. That's not my Wasp. Everything about it is different. She doesn't even have the bioblasters, which that would be her primary fire, which would be the standard bioblaster thing. Wouldn't do too much damage, but it'd be like little orbs. Decent. It'd be like a little bit better than like Mantis' basic fire, I think. The main thing that makes her good would be her abilities. So yeah, the main thing is the shrinking. So she'd go. I feel like a good size, make it still like bearable, is like the size of Magic's little Eldritch Demon. So around like a little bit small, like around like this kind of relative kind of, you know what I mean? Like Magic's little demon buddy, something like that. I feel it would be the most bearable size. Make her too small, and yeah, it would just be incredibly annoying to try and fight against her. But make it too big, and then you kind of have to wonder what the point is. So yeah, I think that's the perfect level of size for her to go down to. And then she'd fly around and all that shit. And the idea is that you only get like 10 seconds in it. That way you can't just spam it. But the way it would work, that you would shrink, you would go way faster, and your bioblast would be way faster too. They maybe like lose a little bit of damage, or maybe they wouldn't, depending on how bullshit they want to make her. And basically, what she does, she'll be like, "Oh, there's like a Doctor Strange there. He's hiding behind his shield. Shrink down, fly behind him, and just bam." And maybe the idea I had was that when she's shrunk, she gets like, instead of like a standard like melee hit, she get kind of like a corkscrew. Maybe that could be like an ability of some kind. Because I mentioned the shield thing. She could literally just go through shields, and I feel like that could be sort of a fun little thing for her to do. Like she would generally be a hit and run pick class. But I feel like that could give her a little bit of a niche in terms of like overall frontline fighting. Like, hey, like my team is struggling to break through like these barriers, like Invisible Woman, Doctor Strange, Magneto. They're getting fucked. They can't actually attack back. Oh, go through their shields, get out like Invisible Woman, try and fly back. By the time I'm back to full size, like they're in disarray. That would be kind of. It wouldn't be as much of a translation of who she is as a character. I love Janet. She fucking sucks. She's the worst. You might be wondering why I'm going Wasp over Ant-Man, Hank. A very simple reason. I don't like Hank Pym. I don't think I need to explain myself on that one. Outside of the obvious, what would his moveset even be? He just like punch and stuff. He'd like shrink, but he'd like be like melee. Like, it just wouldn't really be that fun. I feel like Wasp having the range and being able to fly just gives her so much more to do. Because, again, like, that mobility thing, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to have a bit more mobility as, like, Ant-Man, but, like, being able to fly as you're shrunken as Wasp could be really fun. And another thing in terms of specifically Wasp is this bitch changes her outfit every issue. Like, other characters, I understand that this is not pulling as much from the comics. Like, there are some, like, original stuff being... There's quite a bit of original stuff being made for this game. There are so many Wasp outfits. Like, she's one of the only characters who doesn't have, like, a definitive outfit because it changes too much. The most common one is, like, the mostly yellow, like, the black stripes. But even then, that's, like, only a kind of, like she still changes all the time. And that could mean that they can make bank off of, like, old costumes. They have, like, let's see, like, oh, what do we do for, like, a winter soldier outfit? Give him a different jacket, I don't know. What do we do for, like, a Wasp one? Open any comic she's been in, you'll find one. She literally is a fashionista, too, so that, like, even if you want to make original designs... that's like the perfect thing. You make them like fashion outfits. That could be a really cool thing. Student Eddies, I'm doing your money thinking for you too. You know, think about that. Hire me, please. Don't hire me. I have a happy job. I have a job. In terms of Ultimate, there's only really one thing it can be, and this is one of the main reasons why I really was considering Ant-Man, because I'm going to see some... I know there's going to be some feral fucks, but Janet would go giant for her Ultimate. Yeah, that's right. Giantess, giant woman. Get you fucking... I know this is a thing. I know this is a fetish. I know this is a huge fetish. I don't think she probably wouldn't have the Bioblaster. No, she would, because that'd be really fun. But instead of sort of like scaling with the thing, you know, like regular size, you know, bing, 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 bing. Small size, bing. I feel like when she's big, it'd be like massive, boom, boom. Like, a lot slower, but they have some kind of AoE effect. And if, like, every time she, like, takes a step, there'd be, like, obvious, like, shockwaves and such. This is so... I know someone's getting their rocks off to this, and I hate it. I know there's someone out there, like, fucking doing this. Let's do it to our DeviantArt page, if you know, you know. So, yeah. Wasp would basically just... like, be huge for, like, 10 seconds, something like that. I don't... The time scale is one of the harder things to work out with these kind of transformation-based ultimates, because it's very easy to make it just completely game, like, shut down. Also, one thing I will do to at least make this somewhat better is that, for the love of God, she can't get, like, healed. I do not want to see a giant wasp and then a fucking load of snow broke their all at the same time. At that point, I'm giving up. So, yeah, it would be a fairly simple, it's just be like big and powerful for like 10 seconds where it shrinks back down. If you want an explanation for this, pit particles are acting weird with the coronavirus bullshit, so like, now they can't maintain their size at will as much, you know, similar to what like Cloak and Dagger have. Like, Dagger's a, what's his name? Tyrell? I think it's Tyrell. He's like a normal guy. He just needs to be around Dagger to like recharge. But then they thought it'd be cooler if they were, like, the same person, and they're right, it's really cool, like, fucking love those two. I've never read, like, anything with those two in, except for a couple of issues of New Mutants, but my god, they're so fun in this game. And she's got a fat ass. Anyway, speaking of fat asses, yeah, Janet. I'm not being a pervert, by the way, you know, she's a wasp after all, so it's just, you know, biologically speaking... That's another thing I just realised I have to think about too, about the outfits, is, you know, if she's going to go giant, you know, they're going to have some kind of, like, because there's a lot of outfits that are skirts, so that could potentially be a fucking nightmare for them to have to deal with. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, more female characters is nice, both for, like, us and as Neddies as a company, because that means they get to get more Guna money. I wasn't even meaning to do that when I said Guna, but I actually think that works. And, yeah, I think she could just be a very fun, somewhat unusual thing that you'd only have in Marvel Rivals, which, that's, like, part of the fun when it comes to these kind of characters. Like, these could only work in this game, because they have these unique, amazing powers and all that. So, yeah, that's Wasp. So, next up, yet another duelist. That's kind of the issue when it comes to Marvel, is so many of these guys lead in that very specific way, but whatever, because they're cool. This next one is the one and only Gambit, the Cajun man himself. God, he's so fucking cool. First of all, just from... He's one of the characters who... Not on the same level of Cyclops, obviously, but he's one of those characters where it's like, hey, how come he isn't here? Like, I think Cyclops and Daredevil are, like, the two biggest examples of they should be here. But at least with Daredevil, I kind of get it. I feel like it'd be really hard to make the echolocation kind of thing work. But Cyclops, yeah, it's just, come on, man. So yeah, the reason why I really want Gambit is because I thought of a really stupid idea, and I really want to, okay. So, I'll just get this basic stuff out of the way first. Primary fire would just be, like, he just throws kinetic cards. My idea was it's kind of like, it would be kind of like Lunar Snow. You know, she fires the single projectile, but it's like 3 of them. I imagine that for, like, Gambit. It'd be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I feel that would just be kind of thing for his character. But a big thing for Gambit is, of course, he has the, like, energy. He like, stores energy and releases it in things, something like that. It's energy, that's what you need to know. But he has, like, the big old bow staff. And my idea is to make that a big part of the moveset, kind of like Hawkeye. So, one of my most basic ideas is simply just like that. He just, like, hits you big and, like, raises you up. Because here's the thing, I want Gambit to be a combo machine. Which might be a bit weird for Gambit, but, again, it's cool. I swear to God, this isn't just because I play fighting games. I think combos and, like, shooter games and all that are really cool. Overwatch had a few, and I really liked, to be fair, I don't really play any of the technical characters in Overwatch. I only really played Lucio and Bastion, which I think has actually caused me to lose a subscriber in real time saying that. Bastion is fun, fuck you guys. Just kidding, I don't play Overwatch anymore. I have rivals now. It's just Overwatch rather than Overwatch. So, my idea was that, like, so you'd have, like, the basic thing, and then you have another move where he grabs the pole staff and kind of does that. And that would be, like, you know, it would do extra damage in the air. Notice that wording. Because another thing I mentioned him doing, this would be one of his, like, more simple things to grasp, is he'd throw out, like, a cluster of cards. You could maybe, I don't know, maybe make it all, like, faces or something like that. Could be a cool little thing. And then when you press the button again, he, like, detonates it. It would do a good few damage and it would knock people up. And then that could, of course, be, like, blow them up, and then you, like, do that. Maybe you could, like, juggle them with the staff raise and then with the jab, which I think could be really fun. And then I just had a stupid idea when I was, like, thinking about this the other day at work, and I needed to put it into practice. Gambit should market garden. Gambit should get bonus damage regardless if he's aerial or if the other person's aerial, he'll do bonus damage. Because I want to see Gambit market garden. I think market gardening from TF2... Okay, bit of an explanation. So there's a weapon in TF2 which gets you bonus damage if you've just propelled yourself via rockets. It's called the Market Gardener, and it's known for being a really fun weapon. It's one of my favourite things to use, even if I'm horrible at rocket jumping. I mean, for context, I mainly play TF2 on this. How do I fucking rocket jump on a Steam Deck, man? But yeah, it's really fun in TF2, and I think giving a bit of that in this game would be really fun. And just the idea of Gambit being able to do it is just really cool to me, because it kind of fits with him as a character. You might think, like, what does that mean? He's really suave, and he's always, like, he's always just kind of trying to make himself look cool. So they do, like, seeing a big firefight, he fires cards at his feet, he like, rockets himself in, gets his stuff out, bang! Fucking knocks someone out. That is exactly what he would do. And he'd be like, I'm gonna say, you impressed with that? That was an awful Cajun accent, I'm so sorry. I live in the UK, I don't know what the Cajun person even is, that nationality-wise. This is gonna, like, not look good in the comments, but, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. So yeah, I feel that could just fit with his, like, kind of character, like him being the heroic guy to make the last save, diving out of nowhere, and it would just be so fun. Like, I could sit here and give all the reasons at the end of the day. Him being able to, like, market gardening is an inherently funny thing. You are flying at hundreds of miles per hour, slapping someone directly in the head. It's an inherently fun activity, and I feel like playing that in Rival is going to be really fun. Could it be somewhat annoying seeing, like, Gambit just dive to your backline? Yes. Guys, that's why... Guys, that is why when you are playing a DPS or a tank, you look at your support sometimes to ensure that they are safe. I fucking play Invisible Woman and Mantis. No one ever fucking does that. No one ever does that. No one ever checks the backline. It's the most annoying shit. Maybe Gambit being Gambit would make everyone put his eyes on him, because that's another thing too. if they want to put male sex appeal in this game, they are using Gambit. Gambit's like the hot X-Man. That's like genuinely one of his like personality traits almost. It's like he and Rogue are just like the hot ones, which is what makes Rogue being like a teenager in the X-Men movies so funny. I just realized it's not very funny because I'm pretty sure Bryan Singer was a pedophile, so you know. So yeah, that my idea for an ultimate, by the way, it's actually kind of hard thing because he has like the card. Maybe my idea I really had was just like 52 cards, and he just fires like 52 cards into like an area and then just detonates them all. Fairly simple, yeah, but like it's Gambit. If you have a cool idea, let me know in the comments. I'm not actually too familiar with Gambit, funnily enough. I'm reading through all of Claremont's like X-Men stuff, and I'm not at the point where he's introduced yet. Read New Mutants. He's not in New Mutants, but New Mutants is really, really good. It has magic. You guys. She's a teenager, so you can't go into her, but it has magic. And it has Sunspot. I fucking love Sunspot. So, yet another character who would be a duelist, because that's all we're fucking talking about in this game. Green Goblin. So, one of Galex's lines is, pick a hero or villain. Let's see who we got for villains here on this roster, shall we? Hela, that's pretty undisputed. Yeah, Magneto, depends. They definitely don't write him as villainous in this game, as a lot of other ones. Namor, yeah, again, debatable. You know, he's kind of fucking creepy as shit with Sue Storm, but aside from that, he's generally just kind of not terrible. Venom sometimes, but this is probably one of the nicer incarnations of Venom. This is the part where I will list the other villains, but you can see the fucking problem here, can't you? There's just not really any like villains in this game outside of Hela, and I kind of want to change that. So my idea was, of course, Green Goblin. Yeah, it's a Spider-Man villain, but like, if you're gonna start introducing villains in, I think Green Goblin. He's got a lot of because an issue with a lot of villains is their powers are oftentimes a little bit more inherently different, if that makes sense. You know, it's kind of like, for example, a lot of other series, it'll be like Jujutsu Kaisen, for example. You see all these characters with these crazy fucking abilities, and then you get like fucking Yuji, I punch people. Nobara, I like hit like hammers and shit, and then like Megumi, I summon animals. It's like you kind of have to make your main character's powers less complicated to put them into more situations. Whereas the villains, like for example, one of the most iconic villains is like Dr. Octopus. You tell me how you make Dr. Octopus work in a multiplayer shooter. Do you make him like fucking flail out the octopus tentacles? Do you make him like a grappler? Like, I feel like it's very easy to make him very, very obnoxious. And also very, very ineffective, so I feel that would be too much of a balancing act. Green Goblin, however, would be really cool. So first of all, he'd be a flyer, which is fun. That's something I really do like about Rivals, is all the flyers. It's a very different thing you have to take account of. So, first of all, he'd be like flying around, and he would have like his basic ability would be pumpkin bombs. And that would be like difficult because, you know, he's lobbing them. They'd have a trajectory. You'd have to try and think about the trajectory. It'd be kind of like playing TF2 Demo Man. You know, you have to think about where your bombs are going. Be something, you know, very different. It'd be something only to Green Goblin. So, you know, he'd be like firing up pumpkin bombs, like his main thing. And like for one of his abilities to have some kind of like blaster, and like my idea was I'd be somewhat slow, but it'd do a lot of damage. Because I'm pretty sure in, like, actual, like, comics, they'd say, like, yeah, you can see it. Like, regular people can see these fucking lasers. But, like, they're really damaging still, so I feel like it'd be a fun thing to do. And another one of his abilities would be a net. Maybe this is just a classic Stan Lee thing, but Stan Lee fucking loved putting Spider-Man in a net. Read old school Spider-Man, it's like a net. It's just nets constantly. And, like, Craven, every Craven story ends with someone in a net. I don't know what it was. Stanley just really liked nets, so I feel like it'd be a fun little thing to give Green Goblin. Because I feel like it kind of makes sense. He's like a gizmo kind of guy. It's like, that's literally like how he like fights, is just, I have a shit ton of random gadgets and do that. I'll just throw them at you, and like, one of them's gonna kill you. So yeah, that would kind of be his whole like thing. You know, he'd just kind of be a character you always have to be aware of the random shit he's gonna pull out. Like, oh, you gotta avoid the bombs, and oh, he's firing a net. Shit, I'm stuck, and oh, I get the beam. And as for us, like, oh, there are two ultimates that come to mind. One of them is a fairly standard AoE. He like throw like a whole cluster of pumpkin bombs, and it will just fall down, bang, 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 bang. And then there's the other idea I had where he just started carpet bombing. It would be around 7 or 8 seconds or so. I think that's fair. He would just start flying around his glider, just like tons of pumpkin bombs just flying out, doing loads of damage if you're in an area. And the whole difficulty of it would be, of course, like, you know, you'd have to try and think about it in a strategic way because you can't just, you know, because you'd be a sitting target. So everyone would be like, oh, because you can only fire directly under yourself whilst it's active. So people would be like, oh, if I just stand away, you could get him. And then, you know, at the opposite end, if you're below him, you're kind of fucked. It could be one of those things where he could kind of, like, very easily shut down a point, but, like, it's Green Goblin. He should be good at stopping points. He's a villain. Yeah, generally for the most part, it tends to be the hero side, the ones who are, like, attacking. You know, they're stopping Null, they're returning the Statue of Bast, they're, stopping Loki. Like, generally it tends to be the attacking side of the hero in the debates. So I feel like that could be kind of fun to make some Green Goblins really good on defense. Like, again, a fun little meta-textual kind of reading of it. And in terms of outfits, this is another thing too. So you can, of course, have, like, a slightly modernized version of his original outfit, because even as someone who loves older, slightly sillier comic outfits, Green Goblins looks fucking awful. It's one of those outfits you could have in, like, anything after, like, the 80s. So if you could do that, you'd have, like, a basic recolor of, like, Hobgoblin, because, yeah, I know Hobgoblin isn't the same thing, but do you really want Hobgoblin in this fucking game? No, you don't. Hobgoblin fans, this is what you're getting. So you get that, and then you'd probably have, like, a Raimi ult, because, you know, that's, like, he's a Sentai villain, but he looks cool. Like, it would just be cool to go around as, like, the, like, Green Goblin so many people grew up with. I don't know if they'd be okay to do that, because, like, licensing, but I think it could be fun. And I really want a Norman Osborn. I know it's really silly, but I really want Norman Osborn as an ult for the Green Goblin, because that's just really, really funny. Just, like, seeing a businessman on his fucking glider, like, throw down pumpkin bombs. Like, I'll get you, Spider-Man! It's very silly, but I think that would just be really funny. And I think that's what, like, it only works with Green Goblin, because he's a fucking nutcase. Like, with a lot of the other characters, seeing them outside of their, like, outfits would be, like, cool, I guess. I get to play Reed in, like, a jumper. Yippee. But I think there's just that extra, like, common comedic element of this batshit insane guy just in, like, a suit and, like, a big waves. Please keep the Osborn waves. I love the waves. They're really funny. So yeah, that would be sort of Green Goblin's thing. He'd be quite a good defense character. He'd be quite susceptible, of course, because he wouldn't be able to put out direct damage in the same way as, like, Storm, Iron Man. Even Johnny, I don't think he's pretty good at taking. I haven't actually played Johnny yet, because I'm relegated to support hell, because no one plays DPS. My last character, I will say I'm not as familiar with this guy, really, that much, compared to a lot of others. But he's really fucking cool, and I think that qualifies him. And motherfuckers, it is Ghost Rider. Nicolas Cage himself, everybody. So, Ghost Rider, first of all, I want this guy to be big. I want this guy to be a Vanguard. Just because, I think keeping the skeletal stuff, and then you can see he's really big under the jacket, could just be kind of funny, because you'd be like, what the fuck are you doing in there? The fuck's going on in there? Oh no, I feel that'd just be a kind of silly little mental image. And again, I think it would just be cool to have more Vanguards in the game, especially ones that aren't just, like, big buff dudes. Okay, he would be buff, but he'd be skeletons. So that's just inherently cool, because he's a skeleton, and skeletons are inherently cool. So my idea was that his basic attack would just be, like, the whips. So it would be, like, the chains, right? Like, he's Ghost Rider. That's, like, what he does, I think. Again, I'm really nowhere near as familiar with this guy as anything else. I should have just stuck to, like, X-Men, but, like, yeah, I didn't, because fuck you, I'm cool and any of that shit, yeah, come on. So, yeah, so his basic ability would be, like, you know, just attacking with whips. And one of his abilities can maybe be he has like fire to them, because like Ghost Rider's whole thing is like fire. And my idea was that it would do bonus damage, or you could hit the floor. And when it's reduced, it would cause flames from the floor. Because they have that with Johnny, yeah, but like, I don't know, I feel that kind of stuff could be fun if you had like multiple players doing it and you could like impromptu, like, oh man, he's going now, I'm going to do that. And then you're that, like, that poor fucking magic. They're trying, okay, maybe not magic. My brain jumped to magic. Is like someone you could trap in a like fire triangle. Magic's one of the few characters who could escape that. Oh my god, okay, I'm stupid. But yeah, I feel like that would be kind of a fun thing to do with another, like a Johnny Storm on your team. And also just in general, I feel like it would just be cool to give like a tank some kind of area control. Because that's one of the main issues I think a lot of tanks kind of fail at. It kind of feels like they're just fat DPSs, which is what a lot of people often said about Overwatch. And I feel like it's even worse here. Because it's either you're a slow guy who can punch good, or you're like just like a DPS but you do a bit more damage. I feel like giving like, you know, the whips would obviously be quite clear area control, and then the fire would be even more so. In terms of the motorbike, I think you can maybe make that some kind of like tackle move. Like he'll like get on the like a motorbike, he'll pull it out of his ass, and he'll just like go forward on it. It wouldn't be quite as good as say Juggernauts, for example. But you know, it'd be like a quick short dive that could again leave like a fire trail behind him, more in that area control thing. And the main reason I wanted to do this is the ultimate. You already know what the ultimate has to be. It's the fucking penance stare. And it will work in this game. The penance stare is kind of a joke because it like infamously fails in every other character to show how cool they are. It's like warped to shit. So I feel like giving it the way it would work would be like he'd do something like that, and maybe he could have like a little like whip of the chain at the end of it. But it wouldn't be very long range. That's the thing. But if he hits it, he grabs you. It'd be one person only. And he just does the fucking penance stare. Maybe if you really want to go to the other end, the other player on their screen would see like just black and like John, like what's his name again? It's like it's not Johnny Storm because that's fucking Human Torch. I do think it's Johnny something. I'm really not familiar with Ghost Rider, but all you see is just like his face, and you're just like, duh. So it would basically be like a guaranteed insta kill, except for like. Maybe if you had like a bonus hit or something, like imagine maybe it would take a couple seconds, so you get time to focus on the Ghost Rider. Maybe like make it he takes like extra damage when he's doing the penance stare, something like that. But yeah, if it worked, it's just a guaranteed kill. Could it be very bullshit? Yeah, but at the same time, it'd be really cool and would just be a cool way of showing the penance stare. Again, I'm not too familiar with Ghost Rider. For all I know, I've literally said everything incorrect. But he's a goddamn leather-wearing skeleton ghoul man. Do I need to justify myself why I want him in this game? Like, I'm vaguely theory crafting, not because I have a great idea. I just really, really want Ghost Rider. Because he's really, really cool. Is that a crime? Is it a crime to have a succulent rider, a succulent Ghost Rider? So there you have it, guys. There's a bunch of heroes I think would be really cool to see in Rivals. They might be really bad, they might be really good. But I know one thing for sure. It's better than getting Amadeus Joe.